A crystal glass shattered on marble floors as 8-year-old Leo jerked awake from his daydream, blinking rapidly at the chaos unfolding around him. The elegant Korean restaurant's private banquet hall fell silent, dozens of tuxedos and evening gowns turning to stare at the small boy standing frozen beside an overturned serving tray. "I'm so sorry, Mr. Park," whispered Jenny, rushing to her son's side while avoiding eye contact with the stern restaurant manager. Her worn black serving uniform contrasted sharply with the opulent surroundings of New York's most exclusive Korean establishment, where business titans gathered for tonight's corporate gala. Leo hung his head as his mother cleaned the mess, his fingers nervously tracing patterns on his worn jeans. The whispers around him transformed from English to Korean, to Russian, to Italian, each language shifting and reforming in his mind with perfect clarity, a gift he'd hidden even from his mother. "It's just a glass, not the end of the world," came a smooth, authoritative voice that immediately silenced the room. Standing before them was Alex Stone, heir to the Stone family empire, his tailored suit worth more than Jenny's annual salary. Jenny's hand trembled slightly as she gathered the last glass shards, hyper-aware of the powerful man's unexpected defense of her son. Just this morning, she'd counted exactly $17 to last until next week's paycheck, the sole reason she'd brought Leo to this event. 3 Korean men in matching charcoal suits observed the scene from their reserved corner table, exchanging glances that seemed casual but carried unmistakable weight. Their whispered conversation in rapid Korean grew more intense as Stone approached their section, causing Leo's eyes to widen imperceptibly. Leo felt a strange sensation crawl up his spine as the Korean men's words assembled in his mind. 8 minutes until the toast. Champagne already prepared. After Stone falls, we move to phase 2. No one else noticed how the shortest man briefly touched his jacket, where a distinctive bulge suggested something more dangerous than a phone. Jenny steered Leo toward the kitchen, unaware of his rising panic as the Korean men's countdown continued. "Stay right here and don't move," she instructed, rushing back out with a fresh tray of champagne flutes destined for the main table, where Stone would soon propose a toast. Stone smiled appreciatively at Jenny as she arranged the glasses, her nervous smile never revealing that she recognized his true identity, not just a business mogul, but the notorious 29-year-old leader of New York's most powerful crime family, a fact whispered among service staff but never acknowledged. 7 minutes, Leo heard from across the room in perfect Korean, though he'd never studied the language a day in his life. His extraordinary gift had manifested at age 4, when he'd understood his Ukrainian neighbor's warnings about a gas leak, saving their entire apartment building. As the evening progressed, Stone mingled confidently through the crowd, unaware of the deadly plot orchestrated just feet away. Leo watched in terror as his mother delivered another tray of drinks to the main table, including one special glass marked with an almost imperceptible blue dot at the base. The Korean businessmen separated, taking strategic positions around the room, as the man called Mr. Park announced that the formal toast would begin momentarily. Leo's heart hammered against his ribs as the countdown reached 3 minutes, his small hands clenching into desperate fists. Jenny noticed her son's distress from across the room, but couldn't break away from service duties as Stone moved toward the head table. The champagne glasses gleamed under crystal chandeliers, each flute identical except for the single marked glass now positioned directly before Stone's designated seat. Leo knew his mother's boss would fire her instantly if he caused another disruption, but the Korean men's whispered, 1 minute remaining, forced his decision. Slipping between elegant guests with practiced invisibility, he made his way toward the head table with desperate determination. The tallest Korean man adjusted his cufflinks, revealing a glimpse of an intricate dragon tattoo that Leo recognized from news reports about the infamous Ghost Dragon Syndicate. Their organization had been waging a silent war against Stone's family for control of New York's international shipping routes. Stone raised his hand for silence, unaware that the seemingly innocent champagne contained enough untraceable poison to stop his heart within minutes of consumption. The gathered business elite fell quiet as he reached for the crystal flute, his fingers just centimeters from the deadly glass. In that fraction of a second, Leo made a decision that would forever alter the course of multiple lives, including his own. With a strength born from pure adrenaline, he launched himself forward and crashed directly into Stone's legs, sending both of them tumbling just as Stone's fingers touched the poisoned glass. The crystal flute shattered against imported marble, champagne splashing across Stone's bespoke Italian shoes as security personnel immediately swarmed around their boss. Jenny's horrified gasp cut through the sudden commotion as she rushed toward her son, certain their precarious lives had just imploded completely. "Get them out," Stone barked as his bodyguards reached for weapons, but to everyone's shock, he clarified, "No, secure the Korean businessman now." His eyes had caught the barely perceptible nod between the three men as chaos erupted, their hands moving suspiciously toward concealed weapons. Leo found himself whisked away with surprising gentleness by one of Stone's massive security guards. His mother pulled alongside them toward a service corridor as gunshots suddenly erupted in the main hall. The frightened boy pressed his face against his mother's side, whispering, "They were going to kill him, Mom." "The boy understood us?" "Impossible," hissed the captured Mr. Park in Korean as Stone's security team efficiently neutralized the assassination attempt. Stone himself appeared in the service corridor moments later, his composed demeanor betraying no hint of the violence he'd just escaped. Jenny stood protectively in front of Leo, her server's uniform now wrinkled and stained, her entire body trembling as she faced the notorious crime boss. "Please, he's just a child. He didn't mean to cause trouble," she pleaded, unaware that her son had just saved the man's life. Stone's calculating gaze shifted between mother and child, his expression unreadable as sirens wailed in the distance. "Your son speaks Korean?" he asked quietly, the dangerous edge in his voice making Jenny's blood run cold, despite the relative softness of his tone. "No, he doesn't speak any languages except English," Jenny answered truthfully, confusion evident as she glanced down at her son. Leo's extraordinary ability had always been their carefully guarded secret, essential for his protection in a world that exploited anything unusual or valuable. Stone crouched to Leo's eye level, his movement causing his security detail to tense reflexively, hands hovering near concealed weapons. "Then how did you know?" he asked the boy directly, his intense gaze softening slightly when Leo shrank back against his mother's protective embrace. The service corridor fell silent except for distant chaos as Leo whispered, "I hear all languages like they're English. The men said the champagne was poisoned and you had 8 minutes left to live." His small voice carried no deception, only the simple truth that left Stone momentarily speechless. Jenny's shocked expression confirmed she had no knowledge of her son's ability, her protective arm tightening around Leo's shoulders. Stone's mind calculated rapidly, recognizing both the tremendous value and vulnerability of a child with such an extraordinary gift. "You and your son will come with me now," Stone stated, not a request, but a command delivered with surprising gentleness. "My enemies will know what he did by morning, and they'll hunt him, hunt you both, without mercy or restraint. We can't just leave. Our apartment, his school, our life," Jenny protested weakly, though she recognized the truth in Stone's warning. The Korean businessman had seen her son intervene, had witnessed his impossible understanding of their private conversation. Stone's bulletproof Bentley glided through Manhattan's nighttime streets, Jenny and Leo secured in the luxurious back seat as buildings flashed by like scenes from another life. $17 won't last long when assassins know your address, Stone remarked casually, having noticed the worn wallet Jenny clutched throughout their hasty departure. Leo's eyes widened at the passing city lights, his small hand still firmly gripping his mother's as the enormity of their situation began to settle. They had left everything behind. Their tiny apartment, Jenny's uniform still damp with spilled champagne, not even a change of clothes for either of them. "You're taking us to your home?" Jenny asked incredulously, unable to imagine her and Leo entering the inner sanctum of New York's most notorious crime family. The stories about Stone's mansion had reached mythic proportions among service workers who caught glimpses of his lifestyle. Stone's ancestral estate materialized from the darkness, iron gates swinging open automatically as security personnel communicated through discreet earpieces. Ancient oak trees lined the long driveway, their sprawling branches creating protective shadows over gardens that had witnessed generations of family secrets. "This wing will be yours," Stone announced, as a matronly housekeeper led them through corridors adorned with priceless art. Jenny noticed security cameras tracking their movement, the apparent luxury masking what was essentially an exquisitely decorated fortress. Leo remained unusually quiet, his extraordinary gift now registering conversations throughout the mansion, bodyguards discussing security protocols in Russian, kitchen staff preparing late-night meals in Spanish, and Stone himself giving orders in flawless Italian to unseen associates through his phone. "Your son's ability is not just rare, it's unprecedented," Stone observed later that night after Leo had finally fallen asleep in a bedroom larger than their entire apartment. "The Russians, Chinese, Italians, they all conduct business in their native tongues precisely because translation creates vulnerability." Jenny sank into a leather chair across from Stone in his private study, exhaustion and fear etching lines around her eyes. I noticed he understood things he shouldn't, but I thought he was just exceptionally intuitive, she confessed, guilt washing over her for not recognizing the true nature of her son's gift. Stone poured amber liquid into crystal tumblers, sliding one toward Jenny before leaning back in his chair. Tomorrow, my enemies will begin searching for the server and her son who disrupted tonight's assassination attempt, he stated matter-of-factly, his tone betraying no emotion. Why help us? Jenny asked directly, her exhaustion stripping away conventional caution. You could have taken Leo alone if you just wanted his ability. You didn't need to bring me along. Her fingers tightened around the untouched glass, preparing for a truth she might not want to hear. A rare, genuine smile softened Stone's features as he contemplated her question. I was 8 when I watched my father murdered at a similar function. Poisoned champagne, ironically, he revealed, vulnerability briefly flickering across his normally guarded expression. You remind me that choices exist beyond the family business, Stone continued, his admission surprising even himself. Your loyalty to your son, your determination despite overwhelming odds, qualities notably absent in my world of purchased allegiances and strategic alliances. Jenny's perception of Stone began shifting imperceptibly as dawn approached, their conversation revealing layers beneath his notorious reputation. What happens when they find us missing? She asked practically, her thoughts turning to the inevitable hunt that would follow. Stone's expression hardened as he rose to check security monitors displaying every approach to the estate. They won't find you. Not here. Not ever. He promised with quiet intensity, a vow that somehow felt more binding than any legal contract Jenny had ever signed. Leo appeared in the doorway, sleep-tousled but fully alert, his extraordinary gift having processed conversations throughout the mansion even while dreaming. The man on the phone said the ghost dragons are offering $10 million for information about us, he announced calmly, his innocent delivery of this deadly information hanging in the suddenly silent room. Stone's expression darkened at Leo's innocent revelation, his hand immediately reaching for a secure phone on his desk. Breach in the Eastern Security Team, he commanded, his voice deadly calm, despite the implicit betrayal of someone within his inner circle. Jenny pulled Leo protectively against her side, the reality of their new life crystallizing with brutal clarity. Someone inside this fortress was already negotiating their betrayal for $10 million, proving no sanctuary was truly impenetrable. Pack what little you have, Stone instructed, activating a hidden panel in his office wall that revealed an arsenal of weapons. We're moving you to a location only 3 people in my organization know exists, and I trust all 3 with my life. Dawn painted the horizon in watercolor hues as Stone's most loyal lieutenant, Hector, guided them through an underground tunnel connecting the mansion to a boathouse on the property's edge. Leo's extraordinary ability picked up fragments of Russian conversation from pursuing security teams already closing in on their position. They're coming down the east corridor, Leo whispered, his gift transforming the Russian commands into perfect English without effort. The pursuing footsteps grew louder as Hector punched a complex code into a hidden keypad, revealing yet another passage. Jenny clutched Leo's hand so tightly her knuckles whitened, her maternal instinct screaming to run while her rational mind knew Stone represented their only chance of survival. The betrayal had occurred mere hours after their arrival, confirming the ruthless efficiency of their hunters. My father built these tunnels during Prohibition, Stone explained as they emerged into a garage housing several unmarked vehicles. The ghost dragons think they've infiltrated my entire organization, but family secrets run deeper than bought loyalty. Hector efficiently loaded them into an armored Range Rover with diplomatic plates, his weathered face betraying no emotion despite the chaos erupting behind them. 3 explosions rocked the compound as they sped away, Stone's expression grim, but unsurprised. A controlled demolition of non-essential areas, Stone clarified, noting Jenny's horrified expression. The damage appears catastrophic while concealing which tunnels we actually used, a necessary misdirection when facing an enemy with seemingly unlimited resources. Leo stared through bulletproof windows as they crossed the George Washington Bridge, leaving Manhattan's glittering skyline behind. The man who betrayed us was speaking Korean before switching to Russian, he offered quietly, and he mentioned a meeting point at Eagle Rock. Stone's eyes narrowed at this crucial intelligence, his fingers already typing coordinates into a secure satellite phone. Your son's gift might just save my entire family, he murmured, genuine admiration coloring his tone as he studied Leo with newfound respect. The Range Rover followed a circuitous route through 3 states before finally approaching a remote lakeside property in the Adirondacks. Stone's ancestral hunting lodge stood weathered but imposing, surrounded by dense forest and protected by cutting-edge security, disguised as rustic fixtures. The ghost dragons have allied with the Russian Bratva, Stone revealed, as they settled into the lodge's great room, a crackling fire casting dancing shadows across worried faces. Together, they control enough international shipping to threaten my family's legitimate businesses. An unexpected softness crossed Stone's features as he watched Leo explore the lodge's main floor, the boy's natural curiosity temporarily overriding his fear. "Your son reminds me of myself before my father's murder changed everything," he confessed to Jenny, his voice barely audible. "I never wanted this life for him," Jenny responded, watching Leo examine antique fishing gear mounted on knotty pine walls. "His gift made him different enough already. I just wanted him to have a normal childhood, not become entangled in a Mafia war." 3 days passed in uneasy peace at the remote lodge, Stone dividing his time between secure communications with his remaining loyal captains and surprisingly domestic moments with Jenny and Leo. The crime boss, who commanded fear throughout New York, patiently taught Leo to fish in the private lake, his lethal hands gentle while demonstrating how to tie complex knots. "You're good with him," Jenny observed one evening, finding Stone teaching Leo to play chess by firelight. The domesticity of the scene created a strange dissonance with Stone's notorious reputation, revealing glimpses of the man who might have existed under different circumstances. Stone's satellite phone interrupted their tentative normalcy with urgent news from Hector. Ghost Dragon representatives requesting parley at neutral territory, claiming they have evidence of the poison plot orchestrated by someone within your organization, not theirs. The revelation shifted the entire narrative of their predicament, suggesting deeper betrayal than initially suspected. "I need to hear this conversation," Leo announced with surprising conviction, his young face serious beyond his years. "I can tell if they're lying in any language, even when translators try to hide things." Jenny's immediate protest died on her lips, as Stone nodded thoughtfully, recognizing the tactical advantage Leo's extraordinary gift provided. "He stays completely hidden, protected by my best people, and we maintain plausible deniability about his involvement." Stone negotiated directly with Jenny, respecting her maternal authority. The neutral meeting ground, an abandoned limestone quarry outside Buffalo, provided natural acoustics that would amplify every whispered conversation for Leo's sensitive hearing. Stone positioned the boy and his mother in an overlooked maintenance shed with Hector as their guardian, far enough for safety yet close enough for Leo's gift to function. "The ghost dragons claim someone named the Professor orchestrated everything," Leo whispered to Hector after listening intently to the distant Korean conversation. "They're telling the truth about not ordering the poison. They sound confused about who really wanted Stone dead." Stone maintained a perfect poker face across the negotiation table, revealing nothing about his hidden advantage as Leo continued reporting intelligence through Hector's concealed earpiece. The Ghost Dragon's lead negotiator shifted nervously when Stone mentioned specific details only an insider would know. "They're planning a second ambush," Leo suddenly gasped, picking up frantic Korean whispers from snipers positioned in the quarry's upper ridges. "The man on the phone is giving countdown signals. They're going to shoot in 10 seconds. Hector's lightning reflexes saved Stone's life, his warning transmitted precisely as the first sniper's laser sight appeared on Stone's chest. The crime boss dove behind concrete barriers seconds before bullets shattered the temporary peace, his security team returning fire with practiced precision. Jenny clutched Leo protectively as gunfire echoed through the quarry, her entire body trembling yet refusing to reveal fear to her watchful son. Hector positioned himself between them and the only entrance to the maintenance shed, his weapon drawn, an expression deadly serious. "It was a trap," Stone confirmed hours later when they reconvened at a secondary safe house, his tailored suit showing evidence of his narrow escape. "But thanks to Leo, we turned their ambush into valuable intelligence. We captured one of their lieutenants alive." The captured Ghost Dragon lieutenant broke under interrogation, revealing a complex conspiracy orchestrated not by either crime family, but by a mysterious third party, playing them against each other. "The professor wants both families weakened enough to seize control of the international routes," Stone explained, the puzzle pieces finally aligning. "The professor is a woman," Leo interrupted, having listened to the interrogation through the safe house's ventilation system. The lieutenant kept using a female pronoun in Korean that didn't translate properly. "Everyone's looking for a man, but they should be looking for a woman." Jenny watched something shift in Stone's expression, respect transforming into something deeper as he processed Leo's crucial insight. For the first time since their world imploded at the Korean restaurant, she glimpsed genuine hope in Stone's calculating eyes. "Only 5 people in my organization ever knew me well enough to orchestrate something this personal," Stone mused, while reviewing personnel files spread across a heavy oak table. 3 men, 2 women, all with access to my schedule and security protocols. Jenny examined Stone's troubled expression, recognizing the special pain of betrayal by someone trusted implicitly. Her own life had taught her harsh lessons about misplaced trust, though never with such deadly stakes as those Stone now faced. Leo approached the table with characteristic quietness, his gift having absorbed conversations throughout the safe house complex. "Your guards are talking about someone named Alexis, who disappeared right after the restaurant incident," he offered, unwittingly providing the final piece of the puzzle. "Alexis Kwan," Stone breathed, a complexity of emotions crossing his face as he pulled a specific file from the stack. "My father's goddaughter, practically raised alongside me. She always resented being excluded from succession, despite her brilliant mind." The photograph revealed a striking Korean-American woman in her early 30s, her perfect smile masking the calculated ambition that had orchestrated multiple assassination attempts. "She speaks 7 languages fluently and has connections to both the Ghost Dragons through her mother's family and the Bratva through her ex-husband," Stone explained. "She created the perfect plan," Jenny realized, the scheme's brilliance becoming clear. "Frame the Ghost Dragons for your assassination. Let your organization retaliate, then watch both families destroy each other while she steps into the power vacuum." Stone's security team tracked Alexis to an exclusive women's spa in the Catskills, the luxury retreat serving as perfect cover for coordinating her final moves against both crime families. "I need to hear what she's planning," Leo insisted when Stone prepared to confront his betrayer. "Absolutely not," Jenny countered immediately, maternal protection overriding any strategic advantage. "He's already been involved in too much danger. He's 8 years old, not a soldier in your war." Stone surprised both of them by siding with Jenny without argument, his hand gently squeezing Leo's shoulder. "Your mother's right. Some lines we don't cross, even in war," he stated with unexpected conviction, revealing moral boundaries Jenny hadn't believed existed in his world. The confrontation with Alexis occurred without Leo's involvement, Stone's decades of strategic thinking proving sufficient when combined with the intelligence already gathered. Surveillance photos later showed Alexis being escorted to a private airfield, her final destination undisclosed, but her threat permanently neutralized. "You didn't kill her," Jenny observed when Stone returned, the lack of blood or remorse on his face telling its own story. She had braced herself for explaining necessary violence to Leo, prepared for the moral complexity of their protector's world. Stone glanced toward Leo, who was contentedly reading by the fireplace, blissfully unaware of how events had concluded. "Some choices define us more than others," he replied simply, his gaze lingering on the domestic tableau with unexpected longing. 3 weeks later, Jenny stood in the kitchen of a beautiful Connecticut colonial home, official documents spread before her on granite countertops. New identities, school registration for Leo, and employment credentials that would open doors at prestigious establishments. Stone had created an entirely new life for them. "The Ghost Dragons believe you died in the crossfire," Stone explained, as he guided them through their new home. Security features disguised within charming architectural details. The Russians have withdrawn their interest now that Alexis's manipulation has been exposed. Leo explored their new surroundings with growing excitement, each room more wonderful than the last, culminating in a bedroom designed specifically for him, complete with books, age-appropriate games, and a telescope pointed toward the night sky. "Is this really ours?" he asked in disbelief. "It's yours for as long as you want it," Stone confirmed, his usual authoritative tone softening whenever he addressed the boy. "My people will maintain security discreetly. You'll be protected without feeling watched." Jenny sensed the approaching goodbye and Stone's careful detachment, recognizing he had fulfilled his obligation and now prepared to step away. "You could visit sometimes," she suggested impulsively, surprising herself with the invitation and the genuine desire behind it. Stone's composure faltered momentarily, revealing vulnerability beneath his carefully maintained facade. "My world doesn't mix well with normal life," he responded, though his eyes betrayed reluctance to sever the unexpected connection formed during their weeks together. "Nothing about our lives has been normal since the restaurant," Jenny countered gently. "Leo misses your chess lessons, and she paused, the unspoken sentiment hanging between them as spring sunlight streamed through windows of a home that represented both freedom and separation. Stone hesitated at Jenny's unspoken invitation, the hardened crime boss momentarily uncertain in the face of genuine connection. His phone interrupted the charged silence, Hector's urgent tone pulling him back to responsibilities awaiting in New York. "Keep the secure line I gave you," Stone instructed, as he prepared to leave, his fingers brushing Jenny's as he handed her a sleek black phone. "Use it if anything feels wrong. My people will respond within minutes, regardless of time or circumstance." 6 months passed in peaceful routine, their Connecticut home becoming a true sanctuary, as Leo thrived in his new school, and Jenny secured a position managing an upscale restaurant. The Ghost Dragons and Alexis Kwan faded into memories that only occasionally disrupted their sleep. Autumn painted the surrounding forest in brilliant hues when Leo first noticed the silver sedan that appeared too frequently on their quiet street. His gift had evolved further, allowing him to detect subtle patterns that others missed entirely, including surveillance techniques employed by professionals. "Someone's watching our house," he informed Jenny over breakfast, his matter-of-fact tone belying the seriousness of his observation. "Not Stone's security team. They drive different cars and never stay in one spot for more than 20 minutes. Jenny's hand instinctively reached for the secure phone hidden in her kitchen drawer, untouched for months but never forgotten. Stone answered on the first ring, his voice instantly alert despite the early hour. "What's wrong?" The silver sedan disappeared before Stone's security team could intercept it, leaving behind unanswered questions and renewed vigilance. "Alexis had contingency plans we didn't discover," Stone explained during his unexpected visit that evening, the first time Leo had seen him since Connecticut became their home. Leo's excitement at Stone's arrival momentarily overshadowed the danger, his eager questions about chess strategies and fishing techniques revealing how deeply he had missed the man's presence. Jenny observed their interaction with complex emotions, recognizing that Stone had become something neither of them had anticipated: family. "The Bratva believes Alexis is dead, but her cousin in the organization recently accessed sealed files about the restaurant incident," Stone revealed after Leo went to bed. "They're looking for the boy who understood Korean, connecting dots we hoped would remain separate forever." Jenny's world tilted once again, the sanctuary they had carefully constructed suddenly vulnerable to forces beyond their control. "Do we run again?" she asked, exhaustion evident in her voice, as she contemplated another upheaval, another set of identities, another life rebuilt from nothing. Stone's expression softened as he moved closer to Jenny, his customary restraint momentarily abandoned as he took her hand in his. "Not this time," he promised with quiet intensity. "This time, we finish it, permanently." The plan required precision timing and flawless execution, with Jenny and Leo temporarily relocated to Stone's most secure property, a remote Montana ranch with security measures that bordered on military grade. Leo's extraordinary gift would serve as the linchpin, allowing them to intercept and redirect Alexis's cousin's investigation. "We create a false trail leading to a fictional boy in California," Stone explained, mapping out the elaborate deception with Jenny while Montana whines howled outside reinforced windows. "Meanwhile, my people eliminate every actual record connecting Leo to that night at the restaurant." Stone's organization operated with ruthless efficiency, electronic traces vanishing, and witness memories altered through various means, some financial, some more forceful. The silver sedan's owner was identified, neutralized, and transformed into an informant feeding disinformation to Bratva channels. Jenny observed Stone's dual nature during those critical days, coldly efficient while orchestrating protection for her family, yet increasingly gentle in private moments they managed to steal between strategic decisions. The crime boss and the single mother navigated an uncharted relationship, forged in extraordinary circumstances. Winter descended on Montana with breathtaking beauty, transforming the ranch into a snow globe paradise that enchanted Leo, despite the circumstances of their temporary relocation. Stone taught him to ski on gentle slopes behind the main house, his patience seemingly infinite, as Leo tumbled repeatedly into powdery drifts. "You're different with him," Jenny observed one evening, finding Stone helping Leo with advanced mathematics homework beside a roaring fire. The domestic tableau contrasted sharply with reports she'd overheard about Stone's ruthless dismantling of Alexis's remaining support network. Stone considered her observation thoughtfully, his expression unusually open as he watched Leo concentrate on complex equations. "He makes me remember the person I might have become if my father hadn't been murdered," he admitted, vulnerability momentarily replacing his customary guardedness. The transformation extended beyond Stone's interactions with Leo, gradually reshaping his entire organization, as legitimate business interests received unprecedented priority over traditional family operations. Hector reported confusion among captains accustomed to more direct methods of problem-solving and profit generation. "Your influence extends further than you realize," Stone told Jenny during a rare moment alone, snowflakes swirling outside panoramic windows. "Watching you build something honest from nothing, it challenges assumptions I've held my entire life." Jenny's response caught in her throat, as Stone's hand gently brushed windblown hair from her face, the gesture achingly tender from a man whose hands had orchestrated violence she preferred not to contemplate. Their first kiss felt inevitable, yet surprising, a culmination of connection forged through extraordinary circumstance. Leo observed the shifting relationship between his mother and Stone with quiet approval, his extraordinary perceptiveness extending beyond languages to emotional undercurrents others might miss. "He makes you laugh again," he told Jenny simply, his acceptance offering permission she hadn't realized she needed. Spring brought confirmation that the false trail had successfully redirected all interest away from Leo, allowing their return to Connecticut with enhanced but unobtrusive security measures. Stone's visits became regular if discreet, weekend appearances that gradually extended to entire weeks spent in domestic harmony. Leo's academic performance soared under Stone's mentorship, his extraordinary linguistic gift complemented by developing skills in mathematics and strategic thinking. School administrators marveled at his test scores while remaining unaware of evening lessons delivered by a man whose business acumen had been honed through decades of high-stakes negotiations. Jenny discovered unexpected joy in watching the two most important people in her life build a relationship entirely separate from her influence. Their chess matches evolved into lengthy strategic discussions, where Stone introduced complex business concepts through seemingly simple board game scenarios. The neighborhood perceived Stone as a successful businessman who had fallen for a local restaurant manager, and her precocious son, a charming if incomplete narrative that allowed them to blend seamlessly into suburban life. Community barbecues and school functions became strange new territories, where Stone navigated social interactions with the same precision he once applied to criminal enterprises. "My business interests are increasingly legitimate," Stone explained one summer evening as they walked the property's perimeter together, fireflies creating natural magic around them. "International shipping, real estate development, technology investments, built on family foundations, but expanding beyond traditional limitations." Jenny listened with growing understanding of Stone's vision, not abandonment of his family legacy, but evolution toward legitimacy that honored obligations while creating something sustainable for future generations. The transformation mirrored their own unlikely journey from crisis to connection. "Leo needs a father figure," Jenny acknowledged during a moonlit conversation on their porch swing, the admission both obvious and profound after months of watching their bond develop. "And I need someone who understands that my son will always come first, no matter what." Stone's response came without hesitation, his usual calculated approach to significant decisions replaced by certainty, born from months of integration into their lives. "I need you both in ways I never anticipated," he confessed, showing me possibilities beyond the life I inherited. Their engagement remained private, shared only with Leo and Stone's most trusted associates as they navigated the complex intersection of their worlds. Jenny's restaurant thrived under her management, while Stone systematically dismantled remaining criminal enterprises within his organization. "We're creating our own family legacy," Stone told Leo while teaching him to drive a boat on the lake behind their Connecticut home. "Different from anything I knew growing up, but stronger because it's built on choice rather than obligation or fear." The wedding took place on the Montana ranch, where their relationship had truly begun, an intimate gathering that reflected the careful balance of their intertwined lives. Hector served as best man, his stoic demeanor softening momentarily as he watched his boss marry the server whose son had changed everything. Peace shattered unexpectedly 11 months later when Leo's school bus was followed by an unmarked vehicle that triggered security protocols Stone had established. Extraction teams converged within minutes, whisking Leo to a predetermined safe location before the threat could materialize. "Alexis survived," Stone confirmed grimly, after ensuring Leo's safety, his intelligence network providing irrefutable evidence that their most dangerous adversary had merely been biding her time. "She's been in Eastern Europe, rebuilding support among Bratva factions dissatisfied with the current leadership." Jenny's heart raced as she processed this devastating revelation, her hard-won security once again threatened by forces that refuse to remain in their past. "She won't stop coming for us, will she?" she asked, already knowing the answer that darkened Stone's expression. "Not while she breathes," he confirmed, the ruthless strategist temporarily replacing the family man they'd come to love. She believes Leo is the key to restoring her position. A child with his gift could provide unprecedented advantage in international negotiations. The safe house transformed into a command center, as Stone gathered his most trusted captains, their loyalty now extending to protecting Jenny and Leo with the same fervor they showed their boss. Complex contingency plans unfolded with military precision, assets mobilized across 3 continents. "We can't keep running forever," Jenny stated with newfound resolve, years of protection under Stone's influence having strengthened her beyond the frightened server who once counted pennies to survive. "Leo deserves a life without constantly looking over his shoulder." Stone's organization identified Alexis's planned incursion route through Toronto, tracking her team's preparations with technological resources that rivaled government intelligence agencies. The final confrontation would occur on carefully selected ground that maximized their advantages while eliminating civilian exposure. "I want to help," Leo insisted, now 12 and increasingly aware of his unique value in their ongoing struggle. "My gift has improved. I can detect linguistic deception patterns now, hearing subtle stress markers when someone lies in any language." Jenny initially rejected Leo's involvement, until Stone gently reminded her that excluding him from decisions about his own safety created vulnerability rather than protection. "He's already part of this war whether we acknowledge it or not," Stone reasoned, respecting Leo's agency while limiting his actual exposure to danger. The elaborate trap closed around Alexis at an abandoned airport facility outside Buffalo, her team of mercenaries neutralized through precision operations that left her isolated but defiant. Stone arranged for Leo to listen remotely to her interrogation, his extraordinary gift providing crucial verification as she reluctantly revealed her remaining network. "She's still hiding something," Leo reported, detecting subtle inconsistencies in Alexis's supposedly complete confession. "There's another team already positioned near our Connecticut house." She mentioned contingency in Russian, but the translator missed the reference. Stone's security forces converged on their Connecticut property minutes before Alexis's secondary team could breach its perimeters, the simultaneous operations representing the culmination of years spent building intelligence capabilities that now rivaled her own. The threat had been contained, but the route remained. "You need to make a choice," Jenny told Stone privately, as they observed Alexis through one-way glass, her husband's expression unreadable as he contemplated final resolution. "Not as the man you were when we met, but as the man you've become since then." Leo's extraordinary abilities had continued evolving during their years together, now enabling him to detect microscopic stress patterns in vocal intonations that signaled deception across dozens of languages. This unprecedented skill had proven invaluable during the final operation to capture Alexis, allowing Stone's team to anticipate her contingency plans before they activated. Stone's organization had established the Linguistic Analysis Division, a legitimate enterprise employing specially trained linguists who provided translation services to international corporations and select government agencies. The division served dual purposes, generating substantial legal revenue while creating the perfect future employment opportunity for Leo's extraordinary talents. Stone considered Jenny's words carefully, weighing the brutal efficiency of permanent elimination against the moral evolution their family had inspired within him. "There are facilities more secure than any prison, designed for high-value assets too dangerous to eliminate but too valuable to kill," he finally decided. Alexis disappeared into a classified detention network, her considerable talents redirected toward controlled intelligence analysis, under constant surveillance that would never relax or expire. The arrangement represented Stone's new approach, pragmatic but tempered by principles that would have been foreign to him before Leo pushed him away from poisoned champagne. "Is it really over?" Leo asked months later, as they celebrated his 13th birthday at their Connecticut home, the question reflecting lingering anxiety, despite security assessments confirming the elimination of all significant threats. Stone's organization had completed its transformation, legitimate businesses now generating more revenue than their shadowy predecessors ever had. Stone considered the question with the careful honesty he always showed his stepson, neither sugarcoating reality nor feeding unnecessary fears. "The specific danger Alexis represented is neutralized permanently," he answered, "and the broader risks have been minimized through strategic realignment of our family's interests." Jenny watched the exchange between her husband and son with profound gratitude for the extraordinary journey that had transformed all their lives. The shy boy who once understood deadly conspiracies in languages he'd never studied now flourished under the protection of the man whose life he had saved, their unlikely family forged through danger yet sustained by genuine connection. Thank you all for following this story. If you enjoyed it, please write in the comments where you're watching from, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video, as your support is essential for me to continue creating content here.